Hi, my name is Kevin Starr, and I'm here with ABB to talk to you about the digital solutions that ABB has to offer. In today's world, we're hearing about digital solutions, big data, cloud computing, the Industrial Revolution 4.0, IoT. Oh, wait a second, my phone's ringing. You've got to be kidding me. Are systems down? Now we're getting real close to what the problem is. How many of you have had that same thing happen? You're right in the middle of something and you get a phone call. System's down. Now what are you going to do? We have all this big data. Put your systems down. Is it the instrumentation? Is it the electrification? Is it the control system? Is it telecommunications? Do I have a security breach? All of a sudden you just start seeing yourself getting nervous. We're twitching. We don't know what to do. So we get nervous about this phone ringing with a problem. It's not like it was in the old days, where in the old days our skills as a human was aligned to the class of problems that we were trying to solve. Over here you can kind of see those four little dots. That might represent the assets or functions in a particular industrial plant. Our ability as an engineer or a technician was aligned with that. So our circle of influence matched the industrial space. These were actually pictures that I took 25 years ago. I got to see I was there when we moved from pneumatics to instrumentation, 4 to 20 milliamps, to put resistors in loops, and then to finally get into big data. But here we were seeing, you could tell by the ink on a plotter, the paper coming out of the controller, if it was working or not. We didn't have security issues, backups, we didn't have hard drives, we didn't have displays, we didn't have HMI discussions. We're in a different place now. So as technology has grown, and it's great that it has grown, it's growing nearly exponentially. And so what used to be a physical constraint, which was the wall, it's now a dot on the screen. So now what we have is automation that is growing almost without bounds and is going to continue to do so. But our maintenance and our techniques of yesterday are being applied. So what we end up having is spotty coverage. And what we're also seeing is we can't increase our circle of influence. And I don't want you to hear it that we're saying that people are stupid. That's just not the case, is we can't be everywhere at the same time. So what's happening is spotty coverage. So that dot in the middle, something happened. How long is it going to take for you to find it? When you get that call and something's happened, you've got to go figure that out. The clock's ticking. Downtime, lost production, quality issues, the cost to produce. We are putting pressure on our technicians and our corrective action folks to know that they have the right solution at the right time with the right person. And that's becoming a very difficult equation to solve. But that's what ABB is offering to the industry in the digital space. We're allowing our circle of influence to grow. I tell people you can either fish with a hook or you can fish with a net. We're trying to find bugs, and we're trying to pull those together in the asset classes. So now there's a wide base of assets and functions and process, and there are digital components that go with each one of those. These series of videos are our way of sharing with you a way to navigate the digital storm. There's a lot of information out there. There's a lot of people trying to vie for your business, but we want to make it easy for you. We want you to get on top of your instrumentation, automation needs, because we do feel we build the best stuff in industry, but with the proper service and alignment, we can solve this problem. Now, some of these pictures will help illustrate what we're seeing. The loss in money, it's money, value, production, cost. You'll start to see loss areas. So you might have controls that are in manual. You might have loops that are oscillating. You might have alarms that are, you're blasting your operator with so many arms he can't see it. You may have patch management, cybersecurity breaches. There's so many things that just add up to particular problems. And what happens is you're losing potentially millions of dollars. So where do you start? How do you know what to do? You can't fix it all at once. We have the process, we have the technology, and we have the people to help unravel this particular digital story. This picture, I was trying to think of what's an example about the most remote industrial application that ABB deals with. Offshore oil rigs. You have an industrial site out in the middle of the ocean. Now that red blob there is the incident. Something happened, boom, and it could be anything. That's that phone call that came in. So now we have to hope that an operator catches it, somebody said something's broke, they get to a dispatcher, was it the right time? How long's this been broken? And then we try to get the right tool set to the guys that are in line to get on the airplane, or in this case, the helicopter, to go back to site. So because we can't just rotate people in, and because one guy can't know everything, what we a lot of times do is we take the next guy and say, hey, here's a whole bunch of stuff. Look at his tools. All this stuff, and when you get to site, good luck. This is the traditional approach to service, corrective active service. And when the circle of influence was small enough, the probability of getting the right answer to that guy is huge. In today's world, the probability is really low. And we've had the opportunity to travel around the globe, talk to literally hundreds, if not thousands of customers. And this is the problem. Whether it's an offshore oil rig or a paper mill or a mineral site or a mining or whatever, we have this issue with getting the right person at the right time with the right solution. That's the problem, and we can solve it in the digital space. That's what's exciting. These particular pictures help illustrate what we're talking about as we migrate from physical rounds to digital rounds in the maintenance arena. So here you see we have this asset class, and this guy, he's going to run around the circle and he's going to physically touch everything. And in some cases you may see it maybe drives, and where you'll see where the guy has touched the same drives. Have you ever seen that, where you can see where the wear patterns or the step patterns on years of doing service? We're sending guys out to dangerous places to physically touch or look or check. We just can't do that anymore, not in today's world. And so now this guy runs around, he checks all these servers, and he plugs that information into a spreadsheet of some sort. And when he's done, he sits down and he's like, huh. So this is the IT/OT mobility issue, but I was at a place in Ireland where a guy had just done this on all the servers, and he said, okay, everything's fine, and then the system went down. And he looked at me, he's like, I just can't go around the circle any faster. The install base has grown so big that the physical checks and the time to get around, we just can't do it. So you're left vulnerable and you're wearing these guys out. So there's a lot of time wasted, a lot of downtime wasted, a lot of false positives, a lot of true negatives. So this is a traditional approach that is very common today. What you need to realize is many of our assets, many of our functions have digital components. So on the right, you can see instead of physically touching everything, we can have the digital signatures fed back. We can take those digital signatures and we can convert them into a digital dashboard of performance so that we can have less people in harm's way. We can stay on top of our assets and functions so that this guy can be calm, cool, and collective. So when he gets that call, he can know exactly what's the problem, he can know exactly when he should have fixed it, and he can know what person to dispatch. And that's what we're trying to show here, is it takes less time, less energy, and you can stay on top of it. That's the power of digital. That's the problem that we can solve. That's what ABB Ability is all about, is to do that. So those are things to think about when you talk about your plant or your process or your maintenance. Where are you sending guys out? Can we take a digital signature? ABB can help you with that. So when we take this approach and couple it with our offshore oil rig, the right-hand side was the circle. We still have people going to site. Somebody has to do the work, turn the wrench, fix the controller, change the hard drive. There's still physical components. But the digital signatures can be captured, can be sent over to a data analytics engine, a collaborative operations center where we have rooms around the globe of experts that are able to take these data packets, convert them to performance vectors. And then many of those we can dispatch corrections that can be fixed remotely if we have all the securities and setup. If not, we can make sure that we dispatch a solution to that line of people to get the right person in line with the right tools, with the right service. So when they go out to the site, they have the right solution. We've seen a dramatic improvement in retention of employees, recruiting of the next generation of technicians and engineers, because it allows them to always have the right answer. We can make sure that we're not sending a guy in there to this site and he doesn't have the right stuff. We can fix that. Digital can solve that. So those are the things that we're talking about. We're not talking about replacing your workforce. We're augmenting that workforce. You can't add more people. Most folks can't. Most people are on a reduced man direction. So how do we, in the light of increased automation, reduced man, higher demands on safety and health, which we should do, How do you do it? You can't do what we used to do and expect different results. Digital can help. We have a digital fingerprint that we can align and pull the signatures, and we can predict issues. We can identify problems, and we can know what to fix. How do we start? And that's where people are like, I don't know what, this sounds really good, Kevin, but where do we start? The Oil, Gas, and Chemical Group has come up with a philosophy, or it's a barrier analysis called the Swiss cheese model. If you know what Swiss cheese looks like, it's got little holes in it. The concept is there's no one barrier that can stop every threat from passing through. Our goal is to reduce the risk of downtime, whether it be an explosion, whether it be someone getting hurt, whether it be increased production. We want to reduce the risk, all risks, to zero of those things happening. There's not just one barrier. It's not a steel cage. Everything has little holes in it. So what the Swiss cheese model is you have different layers or different barriers that were designed for different tasks. And then we make sure that the holes or the breaches aren't aligned so we can stop, so we don't have an issue. So that's the thing that I want you to think about. Are you safe? Are you reliable and you're optimized? And apply that to an asset or function class. So that's how we can help you. If you know you've got an issue, we can come in and fix it. So we have areas in equipment, whether it's be rotating equipment, your drives, your electrification, your switch gear, your parts management, your control platform. Those are all issues that we can apply this methodology. Then you get into the control loops. That happens to be one of my specialties, is loop performance. How many loops are in manual? Are they oscillating? Are they over controlling? When was the last time you tuned them? If you don't have that information ready in a dashboard for demonstrated proficiency, then you need the digital solutions that we have to offer. Then you get into alarm management. Back in the old days, if the light was on, I can still remember having a light panel, and if the light was on, everything was good. If the light was off, everybody was, that's long gone. Now we have streams of alarms flooding our operators. And they, how do we make sure that we get the alarms are not really events? How do we get them timed? How do we get them prioritized? How many alarms are your operators dealing with? Are you using ISA standards, EMUA standards? What industry standards are you using? If you don't know, come talk to us. Then you get into safety. No one should go to work wondering if they're going to leave safe. We should make that the utmost, and ABB does, safety minutes. Take time. We don't want anybody going into the site worried about, am I going to get home to my family? Safety to people, safety to equipment, that is the utmost importance. Yes, we want you to make money. Yes, we want to reduce downtime, but we want you to do it safely. So ask those questions. I was in one facility where some guy, he was in Australia, he came up and said, he was shaking. He said, thank you for our digital solutions. They had tied safety interlocks into it. They'd come up from a downtime, and they'd come back up, and they'd forgotten to turn their safety system on. They had it in their operating procedures. They had their checks. Everything was in place. Everything said it was done. Remember the spreadsheet? But the safety system was turned off. We had actually wired that interlock into our loop monitoring solution, and it kept pinging the guy, hey, your safety system's off. Your safety system's off. No one believed it till they went and looked, and sure enough, it was off. They were all trembling. The digital signatures that are available that can prevent the loss of production and loss of life are available to you. If you don't know if you have those, come and talk to us. And now we're up against a whole nother set of threats in the cybersecurity world, the cyber breaches, especially in the area of data handling, data manipulation, big data, cloud computing, cybersecurity. And if you think that you can use the white space or the dead space or the airspace as a protection, you're sadly mistaken. I had a guy give me his thumb drive. It's clean. I plugged it in. It affected my computer. There are always ways for people and unscrupulous people to get in if you don't protect your system. We know our system better than anybody. We can help make sure that we put an ironclad solution around our automation equipment so that you don't have to worry about a threat coming from the outside and shutting you down. So those are the questions. Now, when we look at this, how do you know where to start? Here I've got a list of IT, OT integration, mobility, cyber safety, alarm loop, user interface. You can see all the way up. These are kind of common classifications of industrial equipment, telecommunications, electrification. So the question is, are you safe, reliable, and optimized, and can you demonstrate it? So I want you to ask yourself at your plant. Do it at the next morning meeting. Ask them, fill out this sheet, and say, I don't know if I'm safe. Then you need to come to ABB and we can help you answer that. And maybe the answer is not I don't know, but I need this. I've been trying to fix this issue. I've got a known problem. If I fix this, I know I'll be okay. Guys, let's fix it. That's what ABB loves to do, is we're experts at fixing things. But we're also pretty good at diagnosing issues to make sure you're fixing the right things. So many times we get a call and it's a symptom, it's not the source. I'm tired of fixing symptoms. Let's diagnose the issue properly. Let's work together to get a problem solution that we can fix. And then maybe the answer is, I've already fixed it, I'm good shape, but I'm afraid results erosion is true, it's real. How do you prevent results erosion? How do you do continuous improvement? How do you increase the production of your plant? We can help you with that. That's a sustain program. Too many times we diagnose the problem, we fix the problem, everybody runs around, and then 6 months later it's turned off. We can't have that. That's not good for anybody. So what's a sustain program? Do you have it? And then sometimes people just want to know, how do I compare to the industry? How do I compare across my fleet? How do I compare at the enterprise? Those are answers that we have in the digital space. It's very simple. One question, am I safe, reliable, and optimized, and can you demonstrate it? It's not go ask Joe in the parts room if he's got parts that are with your system. You need a dashboard. You need a digital signature. You need a dispatching system. Do you have that? And then you can just fill it out. So it's pretty simple. We have a series of products that are designed for diagnostic solutions, design solutions, implementation, and sustain and consulting engagements. But there's a lot of areas that we can work with you. We want you to take a look at your system and make sure that you have an accurately covered distribution of solutions in your assets or functions, and we can help you with that. So in the link below, there are different connections and different links that you can actually put in and say, I don't know if let's pick loop as my specialty. I don't know idea how many loops I have in manual. Then you need our diagnostic service. Or if you have a particular loop that's just kind of squirrely, then you need us to come in and fix it. Or we'll work with you to fix it. It's your process. We've designed assets and functions for, in many cases, 150 years. We know our stuff. Not only that, our stuff is great, but these processes apply to vendor agnostic situations. So it just doesn't have to have these 3 letters, ABB, on it to work here. So we can help you in the digital space, help you navigate the storm and know what to do, when to do it, and how to do it, so that you can have the right person at the right time with the right solution. Just fill out the sheet and let us know. We've got you covered.